it not working? Yep. Okay, continue. Thank you, Shannon. I'm just going to turn this over to you and Leanne, the experts, and thanks for doing this today. Appreciate it.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I just want to welcome everybody here. We're going to give the floor to Leanne for pretty much most of the hour, and then I'm sure she's going to be able to answer any questions that you guys might have. She is an incredible live salesperson. She has setups that she does, and she has so much information to share with you on this topic. And we are going to give it over to Silver Leader and Beauty Ambassador Leanne Powers. Yay.
Oh my gosh, thank you. It's so great to see all of your faces. I see Regina, who is a good friend of mine out there, and Tandy's there, and Stacy. And do I say your name, Marlena?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Hi, I did it right. And whoever else isn't out there, hello. I'm working in some tough conditions. We've got a massive tropical storm. I have two 15-year-old dogs that want to go to the bathroom. My husband, of course, just left. So, you know, I'm not going outside and getting wet, and they're terrified of thunder. So they're like huddling against me. So, you know, first thing, whenever you're about to go live, something is always going to happen to make it a little bit more difficult. And that's the end. But no, I'm very excited to be here. I started with The Body Shop about, oh my gosh, where are we on? Day 71? Day 71. I was sitting just scrolling in my phone and Shannon popped up, and I had worked, I have a fashion business. That's where I know Regina from. And I had actually worked doing live presentations and selling since the late 90s. I got back into it, had a fashion business, and then found Body Shop, and here I am, and I'm very, very happy. So I guess I've had a quick path to success, could you say? And a lot of people said, how were you able to do it? So my method was live selling. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about my path and give you some pointers, answer your questions. If you have questions after, you can ask them, because I know for a lot of people, including myself, when I got back into selling live in 2017, it was pretty scary. Am I the only one who feels intimidated when they hear live selling, live sales? Am I the only one, or no? Everybody else is comfortable doing live sales?
Oh, no.
No?
Definitely not. No.
It's hard because also, if you hear any noise, I have like 20 contractors outside my door and none of them speak English. So I think I told them to come in here at 3 o'clock. I was trying to tell them to be quiet at 3 o'clock. I think they think I told them to come in here at 3 o'clock. So like outside the door. Hopefully they leave. But with, the live selling, a big issue with folks, and it's kind of the white elephant in the room, is fear, right? So everybody has these rocking businesses. You're having these parties. You're doing your fairs or expos or your in-persons, all of that fun stuff. And then what happened? COVID hit, right? So many people I know who had businesses, whether they were fashion, they sold pet stuff, they sold cosmetics, everything came to a halt. And it's so easy to have a business that really doesn't have a voice. Or a lot of times people will feel, okay, I can't really do anything else. I've posted all I can. And that's where live sales comes in. And that's what's helped me. But the big thing, and the white elephant I would say in the room, is fear. I'm even nervous sometimes before I go live. It just seems like a lot. And maybe you're not fearful, but somebody on your team is fearful. Somebody on your downline is fearful. And if this is not applying to you, you can feel free to fast forward it. But I was and Regina probably knows this about me, I was very hesitant to bring this up, because when I put together this presentation, I'm like, okay, do I mention this? Do I not? It's really easy to look at somebody and be like, okay, they've done live sales for 20 years. It's very easy. I stopped live selling many years ago, doing live presentations. And that did not, that was in the early 2000s, but I had that background. I worked at home shopping, etc. I got into fashion, I had a pet business, mom, Lyme disease warrior, everything in my life is great, right? And this is maybe going to be, I'm going to keep it at a 60-second story, but this is what propelled me into live sales. And if you can find a little bit of this in your background, maybe it might propel you or help someone or make you feel more confident. So I had a beautiful chain of boutiques. I had a very successful dog daycare. Everything's great. Life's wonderful. I'm in for a surgery. Unfortunately, in the evening, I had a male nurse sexually assault me, and it was brutal. And not only did they not acknowledge it when it was reported, they tried to cover it up. after that, what happened is they found out that he's done this in other states. He left to Canada. And unfortunately, due to the laws in the state I was in, there was very little I could do. My voice was buried, completely buried. And I went from being, this great entrepreneur, mom of a 3-year-old, doing all these things, to being somebody that the police didn't even really want to file a report about this. They push this stuff under the table because of, the medical, they don't want lawsuits, etc. It got to the point where I had detectives following me, trying to discredit that this happened. Obviously it did, but legally there was not a lot I can do. And my life changed completely. So from 2015 to 2017, talk about fear. I couldn't go into my store because I didn't know who was going to come in, right? I didn't want to be in the dog daycare because if somebody came in, I had no control over everything. The PTSD is real. And if you're not dealing with it, somebody else out there is dealing with it in some way or form. And here I am, great retail background. I love people. 2017 rolled along. I'm not going to mention any names, but some pattern leggings came out and that box arrived at my house. And I thought to myself, how the heck am I going to sell this? Just posting things? What am I going to do? And I just felt like I was no longer valid. And I think we've all gone through that in some way, shape, or form in our lives. We're no longer valid. And it's just a horrible feeling. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go live. I saw a girl doing it. I said, this is my background. I can do this. And talk about fear, right? Talk about like putting yourself out there. But it took so much for me to overcome that. And I realized to myself, and I think a lot of us are going to get to this point in our businesses, or hopefully folks on our team, people, guys, whatever we say. I don't mean to say folks or whatever, but there's somebody out there on the team that wants to take their business to the next level. And they realize the only way they're going to do it is by really putting themselves out there. And it's extremely scary. It was so scary for me to go live after that. But what happened is, by me going live, it gave me back my voice. It gave me validation. It gave my business a voice. It gave me a motivation. And I realized that the folks that are out there that are watching you, they aren't out to get you. They want what's best for you. The people in your groups, whether you've done parties with them or whatever, they want what's best for your business. And that is going to give you the confidence to get there. So, the first thing, if you're afraid, listen, I did it. You can do it. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to tell you something. If you want to go live, you're willing to commit, it will rock your business. It will change things for all of you, all of you. And even if you don't need to go live, if you can help somebody on your team, maybe add that personality or add a little bit of themselves to their business, it's going to make a big, big difference. We're not a tree. We don't have to stay in one place. It's okay to move around. It's okay to grow. And that's what live can do. So, I don't mean to talk so much about the fear, but it's so important. So the first few things I want to talk about is how to kind of get out of that fear zone, right? So with one thing I really recommend doing is when you start going live, a lot of you have business pages. Hopefully you have a private group as well. Again, that's all, your social media preference. But for me, if you're planning to start going live, it can be very scary to sit there and really hone in on customers if you're on a business page, because everyone can see them. A lot of your customers might be educators. They could be public safety officials. They could be a judge. They could be a mom. And they may not want their husband or whoever else knowing what they're buying and knowing what they're doing. And part of having a longevity in this business is creating a community. So one thing I do recommend doing is, if you are thinking of going live, I would suggest starting out in a private group. That way your customers or your community can feel comfortable conversing with you, and they don't have their students or anyone else watching what they're saying. Over time, as you get your confidence level up, you can always do lives on your business page. It's great for attracting new customers. And people will say, well, what's the difference? Well, it's kind of like the front of the house is your business page, right? So driving by, you're going to say, hey, Mr. Smith, how you doing? Everything's great. The back of the house is where the party is. You're going to have a couple drinks. You're going to jump in the hot tub. You're going to take your customers and your community on that ride in the back of the house. When I do live sales, I use my current fashion business page. I don't have a body shop one. Well, I do, we're fixing it, but I don't have that yet. Those are a little more conservative. When I do my sales in the back of my house in my group or my live presentations, I get 400, 500, 600 comments on there. In many of my live sales, I will end up selling 40 to 150 products during that sale. Connecting with new people, inviting new people in, it makes a huge difference. I know Shannon's been present for my sales. Regina joined my team because of my back sales, but you know, if you're afraid, I would definitely suggest doing a private group to start out with. That's so important. If you haven't gone live before, it's kind of weird. So what I would suggest, because sometimes even if you're depending on your camera, your phone for movement, start a private group, just you and maybe a friend, a teammate, practice there first. That is a great way to do it as well, because you know, you can always just go live and say, hey, but you want to feel comfortable. There's different types of lives. There's demonstration lives. That's not something I do a lot of yet. I haven't had the time to do it. So I'm more so a sales live. And so once you start feeling a little bit comfortable, and you're never going to feel 100% comfortable, that's when you can start and be prepared to do that sales live, maybe in your group, or you can of course do it on your business page. When you go live for a live sale, one thing I highly, highly recommend, you just don't want to show up. Because what you're doing is special. You're a specialist in what you're doing. You're passionate about your product. You're the leader of your community. You need to make it an event. You need to make it an event, whether it's your group or whether it's your Facebook page, you want to make an event that it's a live sale, a live, whatever your jargon is. I change mine constantly. So I have that event. I make sure I put in my event RSVP here, because what we want to do is we want to get the people tuning in. Nothing makes you feel worse than when you're live and you're like, oh gosh, there's 2 people here. Because it started out for me on my Body Shop group. One day I'll never forget, it was a Friday. I pop on, forgot to make an event. It was Shannon and I the whole time. But when you do that event, one thing that's super, super important is leave that event up. I don't care if your dog was the only one there. Leave that event up, because you don't know who's going to watch it after and who's going to purchase it after. And it's wonderful. It's kind of like leaving the trap out. And then all of a sudden, like a day later, you're like, oh my gosh, there's stuff in here. So always leave your lives up. They are a body of your work. But with going live, I definitely recommend doing the event. It's nothing to say that you know, hey, if you feel like going live that afternoon, you can go ahead and go live anytime you want. But my goal is to get as many people driven to my live as possible. You can also do things like send out emails. You can do a giveaway, make sure that they have to be present during your giveaway. During the live, there's all kinds of things that you can do to drive people to your live. Just like there's things that you do to drive people to your party. It's the same concept. One big thing for people, and the questions I'm getting a lot are, well, what do I show, right? There's so much stuff. What do I do? We have a lot of product. Unlike, and Shannon can tell you, I don't know if I can say names or whatever. Let's say you were selling LuLaRoe or I'm selling clothing. Our inventory can be pretty limited, right? So sometimes you're like, okay, I want to do a couple lives that week. I don't have enough to show. Guess what? I have great news with Body Shop. You always have something to show. So when I start out with my lives, I keep it very, very relaxed. I don't do anything really themed, like too strictly themed, because let's say we're doing, okay, we're going to just do fruits today. You're going to have some of your buyers that say, I already have all the fruits. I don't like fruit. So you want to make sure you're ready to show something for everyone. The first time I went live, I think I like popped the box open and I went live the next day. I was completely unfamiliar with the products. The last I remembered Body Shop was in the 90s. So I was trying to do a lot of like brainstorming and learn all of this. And sometimes you almost want to, I would suggest, dumb it down with your product lines. So as far as your lineup, you want to make sure you have everything around you, right? When you're about to go live. So here, I went live last night. I've got pretty much everything I want to grab right here. You want to decide ahead of time a few of your core products that you want to start out with that seem very universal. It's always, and I don't know how, if some of you have gone through this with different things. It's always easy to show the $10 products, right? Because you want to feel like you're accepted. You want to feel like people are like, okay, this is great. I can't. But you need to make sure that you also have some bottom line builders in there that people can't say no to, because nobody wants to go in and enter an order for $10, charge the person the $6 shipping. The next thing you're like, that Leanne, I'm not buying from her. That was a ripoff. I don't care if you're sending them whatever. You just want to be aware of it. So you want to have those bottom line builders that people can't say no to. So that way you're able to enter in that 50, that 75, that 125, that $200 order. So make sure you have those baked into your presentation and those little upsells. Like, yes, everybody loves the white musk, but okay, it's great. They're going to buy it, but you want to throw this in on top of it. So you want to be able to have those items ready. One thing I did find out that I found was really, really important and helpful in driving sales when I'm live and I'm showing, you know, my plethora of products. And feel free, if you have any questions, you can interrupt me at any time because I tend to get long-winded. So did anyone have any questions so far? No?
Well, Jean asked, I think I answered it for her, but Jean asked, do you create an actual event in the group or just announce it? I said that you create an event, but maybe you want to just clarify that.
Yes. Yes, you going live is special. It's a special service you offer as a consultant. Okay, and you want to add value to that. Don't sell yourself short. A lot of times our egos get so down, we feel so cruddy. We're like, okay, I'm going to go live. Your audience senses it. You're confident. You want to create a little graphic. Mine aren't fabulous. Shannon will tell you my graphics stink, but I create a little graphic. I say, okay, we're going to do, you know, live Saturday night. Let's get pretty. 7 o'clock. RSVP here, and I give a little bit of rundown. Sometimes I'll, you know, snap a picture of the UPS guy walking up with the box going, hey, are you excited for tonight? But I build up that excitement. And, you know, we do different themes. We do themes like, you know, if it's Saturday night, ask for Gina. We're listening to the Saturday Night Live album, disco music. Customers love themes because, you know, in this day and age, creativity, it's just not out there. So you can be as corny as you want. The more authentic you are, the better. So yes, that's a great question. And I would highly suggest doing the event because what happens is you can go live in the event. The customers are notified. It ups your algorithm. They can share it. They can invite people. You can use it as a basis for them to get prizes. Ideally, the best thing would be if you could do a consistent live. I have not been able to, but I know that that would get you your best return. In coming up with event times as well, can anybody, let's do a contest. Can anyone tell me the best time, the busiest time on social media for live sales? Does anyone know?
I think it's 9
p.m.
9 p.m. Yeah, Sunday nights is also so Thursdays and Sundays at 9. Now, a lot of us have clients like Regina. My clients like to turn in a little bit earlier, so I will adjust the times as we go, about 7. I also do sometimes daytime lives. You know, it's just, you want to switch it up a little bit too, or add in extras. But yes, you do want to make it an event. If you ever need help, I know you're going to treat it just like you do a party. You do an event for the parties, correct, Shannon? Most folks do. Yeah, so you want to do that.
Create a new group, but yes, I think so. I think a lot of people do.
Yes. So, you know, when you're live with your product lineup, the question is, how do people buy it, right? I went live last night. I had to stop because my husband got food poisoning. He ate crab meat when I was like, listen, you don't order crab at a Mexican restaurant. You just don't. He ate it. So needless to say, he was dying of food poisoning. So I had to cut my show short. I was so mad. And everybody was having a great time. I was having a great time. So we had to cut it short. But needless to say, I went live for 2 hours. So I share my link again and again and again. Do you know how many orders I get on my link? 0. 0, 0, 0. At one point, I had a mobile app with probably for my fashion business, $25,000, $30,000 worth of inventory. Do you know how many orders I get from there? Not a lot. How I found that I get my orders, and I mean, I have a lot from last night is, and this is if you really want to move your business, if you want to kind of shake things around. It's not easy. Shannon will tell you, I probably was ready to rip my hair out, but how I do my live sales is when I show an item, let's say I'm going to go over this, I always put a number with it. I do not show them a number. Okay, so let's say we're going to start out with this. This is the white musk. This is great, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to put a number 14 with this. So basically I start out with my book. I number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as we go. You have to write as you go or have somebody sit in admin for you. But I number each item. I do not show them a visual number. Do you know why? Because they'll shut the sound off and it's very hard to upsell. So you always want a verbal number, write down what you sold. My customers will then say, okay, we've got our awesome white musk. Who wants to do a throwback with me? We're going to get a what, you know. So let's say I have the 4 ladies that want this. I name their names. I also go back into the notes after to make sure I didn't miss anybody. And I write down as we go, who bought what. Okay. So then when I'm done on the show, I go back in, I basically summarize the list under each customer of what they bought. I go into my group, I put up a thank you for watching my live, and I have a graphic up there, thank you, and then I put their name down and I say, okay, Alice, thanks so much for tuning in last night. I have you down for the lemon lotion, the ginger shampoo, conditioner, and the sponge. You are very close to $50. You want to add anything else on? So I tag everybody. So then they start seeing what they bought and they add extra items on. And then what I do is I go ahead and I enter their orders in through my back office or through another, how would I call that, Shannon? I create a profile and I enter their order in.
As a customer account through your personal website.
Yeah, so I create and I enter all those customer accounts in my hands. And yes, it seems like a lot of work, but you know what? It's paid off for me. When I looked at my ROI, it was probably one of the best things I can do. And it's a great service we can provide for our customers. It's no secret they can go buy somewhere else and it's a much more enjoyable experience. We don't have an app. Ulta does. They can go on Amazon. So I literally place all of my customers' orders for them. They do not want to place their own. That's one thing with the live sales I do find. I had a sale last night. I have probably $1,500 in orders I'm going to enter in a little bit. With the orders, if you have somebody new on your sale, I prepay for the customers I know. However, if I have somebody new, what I do then is I will go in, figure out their total, and then I will send them either through Facebook money request, which is very easy. I'll send them a payment request, or I'll send it through Venmo, depending on their preference. And then they pay before I place that order. That's just for an unknown person. But like, let's say Regina, she was buying through me. She's been buying for me for 4 years. I'll go ahead, place the order, and then I will invoice her and, you know, she'll pay. So that's one thing I found that was really, really important. It makes a huge difference in your sales, your live sales, is doing that. I even in my other business, fashion business, I went to automated where people could type in and it goes in a cart. My sales went down 70% because people are with us here with the Body Shop at Home because they want that personal touch. They really, really do. And you know what? I don't want to I put a lot of work into my presentations. I don't want a chance that Jackie's going to forget and not put that order in. I have a customer, she places $200 order. She said, I'm going to go in and put my order in. I checked, it's still not there. So I'm going to bug her and say, hey, Brittany, you want to do your order before the 20% ends? So, you know, that is one big thing with lives that I would highly recommend if you are looking to get those higher amounts of sales and really, really bond and also upsell them. Because I'll say, hey, you got the shampoo, you want the conditioner? So I take that time when I do a live sale, I make sure I set that time aside to go through what they purchased and see if I can add extra items in for them to get their gift or also to maximize my service. But with my presentations, I never, ever let the customers really, because what will happen is if you say, hey, do you want to see anything? Anyone want to see anything in particular? The next thing you know, can you show me the mint spray? Hey, do you remember that concealer that was dark? What about that thing with the balls on it? The next thing you know, you have a circus. People are confused. So you always want to say, if somebody wants to see something, you can, if you don't have it handy or it's not going to fit in, you can say, listen, I'll PM you after so we can go over it because I just don't, I need to stay on track. And there's so many things I want to show you. So that's a really, you know, great way of doing it too. And I do demo when I'm live. I think that's really important. I get nice and up close with the product because they want to see that gel shake. You know, they want to see it go on. So usually when I start my lives, I start out with no makeup. And by the end of the show, I'm covered in about 20 layers of stuff. So you definitely want to be prepared, have your baby wipes ready, get ready to get dirty, but also get ready with those live experiences to bond, you know, with your customers with the lives. Does anyone have any questions so far?
So Leanne, Tracy wants to know, she had asked if it's okay if she does this from her personal page. And I know you through a group, but maybe you could answer that.
Facebook has become very, very strict. We own a very large business, my husband, where we have a dedicated Facebook rep. So we get more of an understanding than a lot of folks. Facebook does not want you selling on your personal page. Okay. So what you need to do, if you want to let your personal page in on what you're doing, is you need to go live from your business page and then share it to your personal page. Because the thing is, you do not want to have your account locked down And also, you know, you've got a business and you want to be able to garner that respect from people and understand that you can do all these extra things. So as easy as it sometimes seems as going live on the personal page, the way that I would suggest doing it is sharing it to your stories that you're going to go live that night and share that link as well. The stories are a great way to drive people over. Like if you look at my personal page, I don't have my business page set up. You can't tell that I do a ton of Body Shop initially, but I'm always showing the stuff in my stories, right? Like I'm pushing it in my stories and I've been able to bring people over. So that's what I would suggest. Is there a reason that you feel more comfortable going in your personal page, Tracy? That's a, you know, it's a great question.
Only because my personal page is public, and I feel like you could get more people. Like I don't even have I don't have a business page set up yet for Body Shop. So everything I do is pretty much on my personal page.
Well, can I tell you something? I think it's awesome that you want to go live. You want to do what only 5% of the people want to do. So I think it's awesome that you want to do that. And I highly, highly commend it. And if you want to start out going live on your personal page, but I'm going to tell you, I think with the drive that you have and just the fact that you want to do this, the next thing you know, and this happened to me with LuLaRoe back when I was selling it, it got to the point where my personal page became so crazy that I was getting a ton of messages. I wasn't able to handle things professionally. I had people showing up at my house. It was just too much. And the problem is it's going to be very hard to move your people over when as your business grows and gets bigger. Because let's say you want to build a team. You don't want to send them to your personal page. And also, let's say you're taking payment information. Let's say they bring the friend over.
Okay.
You want to keep that business, and it's also for your sanity as well, because I have a feeling if you're this eager to go live, you're going to do so well that I don't want your personal page to get to the point where you have to then move everybody over, because it's hard. It's kind of like moving a house on wheels. Right now, we're all starting. We're in the first year. We're still living in tents and trailers. Me, literally, my house under construction. So we can move things around. We can get that up, because guess what? We're building we're building houses. We're building mansions, girls. We are in the beginning. So you want to set yourself up for success and to make things as easy as possible. And it's not that hard. Like I know you could reach out to your leader and they can show you how to do the business page. And I think it's also going to get your friends and family excited too, that they see you have this business versus, okay, she's just doing this on the side from her house, you know? So I think you're part of a great company. Put it out there in a business page. Don't be afraid.
So if Facebook is weird about that as well, would it be best to just, you could do an advertisement like with a graphic on your personal page saying, hey, I'm going to go live in my Body Shop business page?
You can share you can share the graphic to your personal page and you can tag yourself at the events. But also, if you're going to go live in a group and your friends belong to the group and it's private, you can invite them as well.
Oops.
Do you get what I'm saying? So for me, I would say to start out, get the people in a group for your first, because a lot of times you're not going to be able to build that community if they know they're public. You know, nobody's going to see. It's very hard. You're not going to have somebody say, hey, I have a ton of busted capillaries in my face and can you cover my wart? If they know they're on a public page. So it's nice to have both. And you definitely can do those nice polished lives on the business page. But when I'm looking to get nitty gritty with my ladies and we're talking about night sweats and cooling our eye bags down, it's a difference of me on my business page. I might do a $250 sale. When we're getting down and dirty in the group and building that community, those sales are always much, much higher. So you have to think about, it's a difference between having a yard sale and having a sip and shop in your house. You're going to sell way more at the sip and shop. The sip and shop is your group. I don't want to say yard sale. The lemonade stand is the front. So you have two different things. And I know it sounds busy, but guess what? If you stick to it, there's a very good chance it will pay off. You also, Tracy, touched upon something that I completely forgot about. One thing I hear from a lot of my ladies that I work with on lives, gentlemen I work with on lives, I don't think I've had any guys to have this concern. It was a couple of girls that I was working with. They're concerned about what people think. Right? So I'm like, I'll never forget. I went live. I had a girl helping me out. I said, wasn't this a great live? It was so much fun. You made like all this commission. I don't know. My ex-boyfriend's sister saw me. Really? You're getting a check and you're worried about your ex-boyfriend's sister. A lot of folks that are worried about what other people think about them on social media. It's a huge reason why somebody on your team is not going live right now. It's a huge reason why they're not sharing pictures of themselves right now, you know, with Body Shop products. It's a huge reason they're not promoting your business. If that someone is you, you need to realize we're in the age of social media. Your phone, using your phone and putting Facebook stories and Instagram stories and all this, it can make you a lot of money. It can make you successful. So you need to decide right here and now, are these people going to be along for the car ride? If someone's making you so nervous that you're afraid to go live with your products or get personal with your business, get them off your social media.
Okay,
Get them
good.
off your
So
social
Leanne, I
media.
had one
And
more
that's if
question.
you want to commit to those things.
When you
I'm
when you said that you were putting in the orders yourself,
yes.
so if it's somebody new, you would have to ask them, you know, their all their information, right? Shipping and email and everything. So
Yes.
you're putting all that in. Are you doing it from inside the back office or are you doing it on your front page? Because if you do it on your front page, then you have to make a password for them as well, correct?
What I do is on my front page, and hopefully this is like the legit way of doing it. But what I do on the front page, I use a separate account. I use the same password and email every time. I make sure when I put my credit card information, because I don't need people visiting me or looking at this terrible house I bought on Google Maps. Somebody had a customer like, I found your address. Oh my God, that's a fixer upper. So I don't like, so what I do when I put the information in, including my credit card, I use their shipping address for the credit card. So that way they're not getting my personal information, especially if it's somebody new and you don't know, and you don't want them coming to your door. So I go in through the front page, use my account, and then over time, as I re-enter the orders, because they keep ordering, because they love the stuff, right? And I keep going live, their information populates. So does that make sense? Is that the best way to explain it, Shannon?
So you're basically going in and just every time changing the name and address.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I keep my address, like it's really, I learned it because I keep my address off there because all of a sudden they get this invoice and they're like, well, why is it your address? Oh, I didn't know you lived there. I just like to keep it as generic as possible. The great news is Body Shop will have some new software coming out soon, right? And we're not gonna have to deal with it. We're just in the beginning. But for me, I found this was the best because I work really hard on my lives and I don't wanna lose that chance of them not following through on the order. And I wanna be able to make it as user-friendly for them. And then for payment, what I found was the best for me, thanks to Shannon, because you do not want to constantly go into PayPal and then be requesting money, and some is coming in friends and family, some isn't. And then all of a sudden PayPal sees you're requesting all this money, it's being paid as a business and there's no tracking to back it up from your address. You don't want your money held. So what I did in order to funnel it into friends and family is I do a Facebook money request through there and it comes in. That way also I'm not paying those fees because you don't want to have to pay those PayPal fees on your taxes and on their shipping. You know, it can be a quick, you know, so that's the best way I found. And I ask them when I'm live, if they're new, I'll say, hey, Tracy, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait till you touch this. This is gonna be so great. Blah, blah, blah. Listen, Tracy, can you do me a huge favor? Can you friend request me? You know, or if she's in the group, friend request me, I'll friend request you. I'm going to find you. I need your email. And then what we do is we PM and I'm able to get their email, their address, all of that good stuff. And there's different things you can do. You can have a Google Jot form. It's all your comfort level. It really is. It's all your comfort level. I did a party on my page for one of my customers and she had her friends. So I have maybe 4 or 5 new ladies. So I'll be messaging them later to get all their info. Don't put orders in though until they pay if they're new.
I
Okay.
just wanted to touch on this one thing, Leanne, because it seemed there's a lot of chat in the chat too as well. So there is no wrong way to do it. Like you can put it through your back office if you want to do it that way. You know, we find that because, and the reason Leanne is doing it this way, if you create what we call a customer account, like a dummy customer account, essentially, where it could be your name, mine's actually under my business name, it just says Unicorn Fairy, but this can vary. You're able to put in all of their information. You're able to, like Leanne said, put in their shipping. You're able to actually put in their email address if you wanted for each transaction. And then you can go in, if we, again, mine's called, I can go in and track all the orders under that shopper account, customer account, and see that this order went to Leanne and this order went to Regina and this order went to Tandy, if that makes sense. It tracks it all in that one place for you. And it also enables, if Leanne's order was over $65, she gets a free hand soap right now. If I'm doing that through the back office, I'm not able to offer her that freebie, but if I do it as a customer account for Leanne, or essentially she's doing it for others, then they can get the freebies too. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah, it wouldn't be fair. Yeah, it's not fair to somebody, hey, you tuned into my live, so you lost out on the $65 gift. So that's also why we're doing it. And for me, for my accounting purposes, because I don't want to muddy the water with both. So this way, everything that's going through this one account is for customers. And if you get into making a certain amount, you have to deal with accountants. They want to see that. If you were to get audited, you need to kind of keep it that way. It's important that you keep those accounts separate depending on what state you're in. It's an easier way for me to do it. It's all up to you. And, you can discuss that with your leader as to your levels and consult with your accountants as well as you grow. So, but yeah, that has definitely helped me. Does anyone else take orders like that? No? Okay, so with the big thing too with lives is, where am I going to go live from, right? I don't have a good backdrop. My kids are loud. My dog's barking. I don't like my lighting. A big reason people are hesitant to go live is you see people out there who are going live. It looks beautiful. There's fairies in the background and bubble gum and unicorns, and you're sitting in front of a white wall with a couple dogs on the floor and bad lighting. Can I give you a secret? It doesn't matter. People in this day and age, your customers want you. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in front of nothing. They want you. They want to hear the products. As long as they can see you, there isn't anything distracting going on, like you don't have a big fan spinning behind your head. They can hear you. You've got the products here. If you don't know something, you can grab it and look it up. That's all they need. So don't let your backdrop of life intimidate you from going live or giving your business a personality. Some of my best posts, some of my most, things that I've sold from, taking a picture while I'm out with my dogs with a poop bag in my hand. No poop was in it yet, but the point is, your customers like you, they want reality. They don't want perfection. And so many times it's, oh, I've got to go live tonight and I can't. Get out there, do the live, make sure you have good lighting. And what I'll do, Shannon, is I can maybe show what my personal setup is, but make sure you have good lighting, you have a good Wi-Fi connection, you have a pen, you have something to write with, and go for it. Don't wait for life to be perfect. It's not ever going to be perfect. Even going live today, I was so nervous with you about going, I'm not a Zoom person. I love being on Facebook, so I could have seen, I could see more of your reactions and stuff. So I was very, very nervous, but you just got to go for it. You got to do it because we want to get your business moving. Like I said, we're not trees. We're not stuck. It's up to us. We want to take this business further and add personality to it, drive sales. It's completely up to you. If you want to do it, it is out there because there's not a lot of consultants doing lives with their people. They like you. They met you at a party. They might think you're funny. Your people want to spend time with you. Don't discount yourself. We as women, as often ingrained, I'm saying women because I only see women on the feed right now, but it's ingrained in us to discount ourselves, to kind of cut ourselves a little bit short. Our customers want us. Our community wants us. They need us. And you don't realize how much your presence live can often help people. I get messages all the time like, hey, that made my night. I wish that you would be live more. It made me so happy. So remember, empower yourself and realize that you have this and you have a great product to sell, a great company behind you, and you have people that want the best for you. So, the main thing is set up your groups, set up your social media for success. If there's somebody on there that's intimidating you, that bothers you, you don't want to see, get them off. Get them off. This is your platform. This is your stage. This is your time to shine. You have all the tools you need in this day and age to really take your business to the next level. It's just you, and you have to decide, am I going to be held back or am I not? I'm just eager to know, what are some of the questions that you may have or things that you feel might be holding you back? Is there anything that I can answer? I don't see the chat when I'm live on this, so it's really difficult with the Zooms.
So Leanne, Jean's mic isn't working, so I'm going to speak for her. She wants to know, she said that you mentioned being strategic about the order of the items that you share. Can you speak to that? And also, could you maybe do, I've gotten a couple comments also on my phone on this too. Could you maybe do like a couple minute mock live? So maybe talk about the order that you do and then grab a couple of those things and just kind of show them, you know, obviously not a 2-hour live, but just a quick little mock live for them.
Okay, well, the answer is no, I can't do a real live because usually when I'm live, something really bad is something always is going wrong. Yesterday, my daughter was knocked over the table. My husband gets food poisoning. So if my husband's not here, I can't yell at him, so my lives aren't as real. No, I'm kidding. We bicker back and forth on my lives. So with a live, the main thing is to get in on there, introduce yourself. Don't sit there and go, hey, is anybody here? Hey, oh, are you here? You get on there. If you see there's one person, it doesn't matter. The only one that matters is you. So just keep it going. So when I get on lives, I've introduced myself, say what I do. I usually get started in about a minute to a minute and a half, 2 minutes. The nice thing is you want to make sure too your device is big enough. So I either use Regina is going to be mad at me because Regina works. She works for an optician and my eyesight is really bad and she wants me to get glasses and I need them. So I'm usually like, hey, Terry, hey, but I acknowledge everybody that's coming on. It's so important. They want to hear your voice. If you can't pronounce their name, you can mispronounce it. My best customers, I mispronounced their name for 5 years in a row. I finally learned it. But get on there, say hi to everybody. So important. Get the energy level up. If you're having a bad day, you can tell them what happened because it's real. And they don't want real, they'll go tune into Lifetime or one of those stations. So usually with the live, what I like to do is I like to start out with something that is a universal yes or a universal reorder. I know for my group, we're all about the bananas here because I live in Florida. So every day we're having a bad hair day. So I always start out, oh, my hair's a mess. Do you know where my clip is? Oh, speaking of, do you know about the banana? So I usually start out with a feel-good product. You know, we don't want to start out with like a dry cracked foot cream. That's fun and it's necessary, but we want to have something that is going to put a smile on faces. It's very mid price point level, may have a special on it. You don't want to shove too much down people's throat. Like I was shoving the shea butter sets down people's throat. They were like, get away from me, woman. But you want to start out with something that is going to make people smile and engage them. A big one you can start out with is a lipstick. So let's see here. I'm going to pretend that I'm live. Oh boy, here we go. So, all right. So we've got everybody introduced. Hey, oh my gosh. I know you girls saw the UPS guy in the picture. Do you want to know what's in the box? Nobody? Okay. All right. So then what I'll do, I'm going to say, listen, it has been raining here. I am in rainy season. I know a lot of you back east. I see you there, Regina. I know it's a little cloudy. We got in the most amazing, amazing stuff. Now, do you remember the time I had the accident a couple years ago with the self tanner? No? All right. So I've been really hesitant to use self tanners. Anyone else out there hesitant to use self tanners? Now, remember, I'm on the Facebook Live, so I'm seeing the feed. I'm not a Zoom live because I want to be reading it and really, in my mind, creating what it feels like for them. So it captures. So I'm going to bring up, we've got this fantastic, fantastic coconut bronze. Now, what I like about this is you can auto dial your own self tan. You can decide if you want to be a deeper level, if you want to be lighter and be conservative. If this is your first time using a self tanner, this is the product for you. I absolutely love this. First off, it doesn't smell. Anyone like that? You know, is anyone used to like the, or remember that old school self tanner smell? It's like the worst, right? It
smells like pee, right? Didn't it?
No, this has like all natural DHA. It smells like pee. Yes, yes.
Chemical.
Oh my gosh. The one time I used to date a guy that he would self tan and then say he didn't. The worst. So notice as I'm showing, I'm bringing up stuff and then people will type in and say, hey, I remember the one time that my husband had a self tan and he streaked his shirt. You don't know what people are going to say, but you want to kind of just keep it going. So I have the products. I wanted to talk about the products. This is, done with, it's infused with actual coconut oil. So not only when I'm showing you this, right, it's not only going to work and give you that glow that you want, it also is going to help your skin. So it's got a two benefit to this. The price is amazing too. Now, one thing, if you forget your price or your info, one thing I like to do when I'm live, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of like is make sure, oh, what kind of dog is that?
Cocker Spaniel. She barks at everything. There's probably a leaf blowing across the lawn.
Hi. And then I always say, hey, how are you guys doing? Anybody have a dog? Let me say hi to them. My lives are really quirky, but people like it. So I always make sure I have my little shop link pulled up, because guess what? If I forget a price or I forget a detail, it's so important you realize you can tell your customers, guess what? I totally forgot the price and I don't want to tell you the wrong price. Let me check on this really quick. Okay, so make sure you have a device or a way for you to look up your pricing. One thing with live, it's fine to say, I don't know. You are not sitting on a QVC set. You can say, I don't know, or let me double check. So let's say I forgot the pricing of this, because what's going to happen is you'll say, okay, let me come up with my whole rundown. I'll remember everything. And then all of a sudden you realize, hey, my ladies seem like they'd really like this. Let me show it. It's it's kind of hard if you're having a genuine live to predict everything. I can talk about the setup as well for my lives. Absolutely. So with this product, of course, it's at the bottom. This is, as I thought, $22. Yay. So listen, this is amazing stuff. All right. First off, this is it. You could literally custom build your tan. So let's say I want to be a little bit darker, want to put on the Ritz. I can do this straight on my skin. This is going to give me the deepest effect. Now, if you're worried about streaking, you want to start out a little bit more gradual. One thing I love about this is you can combine it with a lotion. Now, what I suggest doing, and this is again what I'm telling my customers, but I suggest going with a mid-weight lotion. Don't use this with your body butter. That's going to be too slick. So notice how I brought this in. I've got this. So all of a sudden, you can't buy this without this, right? And then I show them how I mix it up, depending on what they want. Because again, I have customers that are all different skin tones. So I love that this is universal. Even if you don't need self-tanner, you're going to want this lotion by the time you're done. And I'm going to say, this is one of my favorites to work with. Does anyone else have the lemon lotion? You love it? I know it's so good, because they'll say, I love it. It's not too sweet. Well, it's made out of real lemon juice, and this smells amazing. So what I'm doing is I'm blending this in, and this is going to give me that nice custom tan. I don't need to get naked in front of anybody in the spray booth. I can do it myself. Talk about nice. I don't need to go get spray tan anymore. Who wants to do that? Then we talk, you just kind of want to get into it with your customers. But again, you also want to be familiar with the products and how they benefit you, because that's going to help them. Do I love everything The Body Shop makes and use it myself? No, but I try it and I learn about it so I can at least show my customers how it relates to them as well. So that's like, it's kind of like I've sold plus size clothing, been done very well. Well, you're not a plus size. How do you sell it? Because I understand how it relates to the customer. And I think we all, can empower ourselves as we go along with The Body Shop and learn how these products can help. So I kind of go through, do my demo. And then, once we're wrapped up with that, I'm gonna say, okay, girls, so it's our first item. I'm telling you, there's so many fun things today, but let's start out with this. This is gonna be number one. So just type sold in one. And then I'm going to put your name down. So just let me know. So then I'll look and I'll see, okay, oh my gosh, Regina, perfect. You're going to love this. Regina, are you going on vacation or you just want to be tan for fun? And so I'll kind of joke around, because people want to be acknowledged for buying something. Now, if it gets super crazy and I miss somebody, I ask them to repeat it. But the main thing is your ladies are hearing their names, because guess what? People are no longer getting the call from the Lancome counter saying, Doris, guess what? We're having a special. Makeup counters are not active like they used to be. So if you have buyers that are 30 and up often, they want to hear their names. They love the engagement. So that's what can be really, really beneficial on your live as well. So then I'm going to say, okay, girls, am I safe to assume that you all want this? No, you don't want the lemon? Okay. Anyone want the lemon? So we'll go in. We're going to give this number 2. She's $13. And just so you know, this is going to be 20% off. And ladies, if you're shopping with me today, please let me get you up to $50. I don't want you to pay the $6 shipping. So then we move on to the next product. Other products that are easy to break the ice, like our icebreakers. Those are going to be your $10, $12 products. Your lipsticks, your limited edition things like your musk roll-ons. fragrances that invoke reminiscence, right? I shared something in our group about a woman who's like, oh my gosh, the white musk reminded me of whatever. Those are things that are going to be great icebreakers. One thing I'm really not very familiar with is selling to generation. I don't know what generation is like 18 to 28. So I'm not going to pretend to know how to sell to them because I don't even know if they watch lives. What are they?
Gen Z, right? Isn't it Gen Z?
I mean, maybe they might, you know, is it Z? So again, I'm selling more to a 30 and up demographic when I'm doing this, but I go through and by the time I'm done, I'm at 35, 40 items. And then so I do things I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, but I know for me, when I'm live, it's so important. I'm connecting with my customers. I'm not trying to enter anything into a spreadsheet. And then I go through and I basically make up lists of what each customer wants. So that's how I do my lives. I will not lie that some of the times I get overwhelmed afterwards, but you know what? I'd rather be overwhelmed and entering in 500, 1,000 or $1,500 worth of orders than not have something or just be hoping somebody's going to place the order. And that's the thing with this, you're not the tree anymore. You're moving your business. You're driving it forward. You have the power to do that when you do go live and consistently. And you are going to make mistakes. You're going to have some lives that are horrible and it's okay. It's all part of growth and, you know, part of being in business. And we're business people. That's what we're doing. We're working a business. We love this. And we want other people to know about it.
Leanne, how much information do you give on a product specifically?
Well, I usually give a couple points with it. It's more so people are on that live because they want to know how it feels. So I'm going to give them information. They don't want an encyclopedia. They just don't. So, you know, the main thing is the hydrating time is important. Is this good if you have dry legs? If you're back east and my ladies and it's May, you know, it's April, they want to know, hey, is this good for dry legs? Like put it into layman's terms. Remember, if you say it, you own it too. So it is nice to have some techie stuff. Like if I show a bouncy eye gel, I did last night, I'm like, this is lowering my temperature 1.5 Celsius. Do you know how good that feels? So you can add a few points in, but I don't get too informational. I always can, and they can PM me, or I could go live, like, and just do it and hone in on that product, but I don't want to lose people in the mix. And I also don't want to tire myself out. I need to have fun. You need to have fun when you're doing it. Part of going live is recharging you. It's like a Tesla. It's just plugging it back in, recharging your business versus things can get stagnant, especially if your parties might be a little bit, you know, off, or you're not able to meet people face to face, or people aren't responding to your posts due to algorithms. This you have control of.
Okay.
If you're nervous, pick up a product and play with it. Don't play with your hair. How often do I do live sales? And I'm sorry, I'm missing so much of the chat. I had a very bad month this month because my house was under construction and there was just no way I could go live. I mean, it was bad. But normally I would do live sales 2 to 3 times a week. If you do sell a different product line, I know Shannon has seen this. I would highly recommend integrating things in. So if you're showing a shirt, have that lipstick on. Let me tell you, that's how I got a lot of my people. A lot of my people were like, I don't need Body Shop. The store in the mall just shut down and I stacked up for years. All of a sudden they see that lipstick, I'm reeling them in. So don't be afraid if you do sell another product to have that product on, to have some of that product to show. So it's usually 2 to 3 times a week would be ideal for me.
Can you talk about your setup, what you use, talk about, you know, the products that you use to like do your setup for the live sale?
Okay. For the live sales, I originally started out when I was doing the fashion. I tried just about everything, right? So I started out, and for some of you that have vision issues, I would suggest doing like an iPad Pro. If you have an iPad, get a mount and use it. So that way you feel comfy and you can see comments. I'm just squinting more. So I use right now, for most of my sales, I use my phone. It is larger. I have an Apple product. But one thing that's so important with lives is your lighting. People want to see what they're getting. They don't want to see anything filtered. They don't want to see anything dark. So for me, I have a lot of lighting. I made the investment for myself. I work one of my customers works with Glamcore. So I was able to, if anyone's interested, you can PM me. I have a big savings code, but I have a Glamcore mirror. So that's a fully lit mirror that I can sit down at. I've had a lot of surgery. So one thing I want to tell you, if you're live with Body Shop, sit down. Don't be up on your feet swaying around. It will drive your customers nuts. Be seated. So I sit in front of a very well lit mirror. I have 2 light rooms and I normally have a backdrop. Right now I'm in what will be my daughter's future bedroom. So my husband's going to drag all this stuff up here in the rain to make it nice. That's okay. So that is my setup. I make sure that my phone is updated, that my Facebook app is updated. I make sure everything is updated too. It's a big problem. All of a sudden you'll go live and then you've got to run updates and everything else. One thing I do to drive business is I have a mobile app, not for Body Shop, for my other business. I do send out a text like a mobile app push when I'm about to go live. Well, let's say you built up a big live following. You could also sign up for a texting service as well. So that's my get up. And I have a pen and a notepad, and I try to have a positive attitude. But that's, any questions about the equipment? The mirror that I use, it has a magnetic holder, so I can literally mount my phone, and then it has a nice full lighting around me, and there's a mirror. So if I'm demoing products, I've got the product right there. One thing I will suggest, if any of you have equilibrium, neurological issues, MS, anything like that, when you're live, you can have a couple different setups. I work in reverse because it's actually better for your equilibrium. Because if you're live, you're watching yourself in your phone. So let's say you're live for 2 hours, you can literally feel seasick if you keep it in the standard format. So I work in reverse. So if I show you something, the writing's going to be in reverse. Does that make sense? It's just an equilibrium thing. I learned it after going live quite a bit. So
how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you go in reverse?
Reverse. Okay, so when you go live in your Facebook, there's a little like arrow, and you can press that. Like you can do it where it naturally goes in reverse. I believe when you do go live, it's naturally in reverse. Some people will reverse it so the customers can see their writing. They can't. It's not worth it. So you want to make sure you feel comfortable and move around okay, because if you're using your phone as a guide, you want to feel comfortable. If that makes sense. You don't want to feel dizzy or swaying at all. And then also, after my live, which is so important, if you're on a business page, go in and edit that live. You can add captions, you can add tags, etc., to help get you seen more. If you're in your back area and you go live, pin that live to the top. There's actually a way to make it as an announcement. And then what I do to go in and up my algorithms is I respond to a lot of the statements that are in there. Even if Regina said last night, hey, it's raining out today, it's so cold, I'll go in there and I'll like her comment or I'll respond to it. Plus, when I comb through the comments, I don't care if you have 600 comments, those people cared enough to sit in there and watch you. Go in there, like their comments, and I guarantee you'll find a few things that you missed. I also refresh and I check in on my group bids or new comments or new questions. Any questions?
How do you choose the products that you want for that specific show? I know you talked before you do some theme nights, but how do you pick?
Well, a lot of it is, we are in the business of sales. You got that box. If you intended to use it for yourself, it's one thing, but you're all here because we're in the business of sales. And part of being in the business of sales is reading your customers. So as you're reading their comments and you're seeing what they get excited about, that's how you build your lineup. I don't suggest starting out with just, here's 12 products and we're not going to move off of it. Because you know what, if you're showing a mascara and then somebody's like, do you have something waterproof? You want to be able to work those things in. So the main thing is, I call it my rig. It drives my husband nuts. He's like, this is the dumbest name. But I have everything all set up so I can grab it and I'm not rooting through boxes. Also, normally, you want to have like your diffusers behind you. You want to have some pretty things for conversationals that you can grab, and also some things when your mind goes blank that you can grab to show, to fill in. So no, as far as how I start out, I know, for example, when I go live tonight, I'm pushing this fruit because the sale's going to end and I'm going to end, not gonna, and I'd like to be able to get that up, and I'm going to show the accessories, but then I let everything else kind of build around it. Like I will be showing that lime firming oil. That's a nice, what, $20 sale. It's super easy with the brush. We're showing that tonight. And I always make sure I have some products that are going to be 20 and up, 30 and up, 40 and up. So you don't go live and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wonderful, I sold 20 $10 items. So you want to make sure that you have some of those value builders and you're familiar with them. You know, like Tracy asked, how do you go through the whole product? Those are the things, those big value builders, you do want to know the details on. Those are the best ones to know, to make it easy. But you also, and Shannon did bring up something, you don't want to go where you're all over the place. The first night I went live with Body Shop, I think I did what I do in sales, maybe 2,200. It was insane. I had over 600 bids. It took me 3 days to place my order. It was too much. So you want to feel free to stop it too. If you're like, oh geez, this is all over the place, feel free to stop it. But an easy way too for your value builders is always show, your $25 foundation offer to custom match them. They can PM you. You're always going to get a sale or two off of that. Show your foundation brush. Those are those things that you can up those sales, because I don't want to see you put a ton of effort in and then you just have a bunch of $10 sales. You'll start to feel tired and defeated. And the idea is live is going to make your life easier, not harder. Did that answer your question? I wish I could say there was a perfect formula of what to show, but it's always changing. Just like Body Shop is always changing the products they're highlighting. And every show you want to make sure though, you don't keep showing the same things over and over again either. So that's why you want to, you're starting out, up your BEP, place your orders. And this is really important. If you know that you have an engaged audience, like some of the top stars I watched, I can't remember her name, go and overnight it, get it in as soon as possible. So you can say, hey, look what I got. So that's another great way to up the sales, like the lip vinyls. I wanted to get those in as soon as possible because I wanted to share my excitement with my customers.
Yeah, it's a good idea to start your first one with things you're excited about, right? Because then your passion and enthusiasm will come through.
Yes, that's exactly, you said it. You said it better than I could. So yes, start with things you're comfortable with, you're familiar with. I always start with like a couple things that I know are going to really hone in on repair, like the hemp cracked heel, things that are solutions, but then you want to have your fluff and your fun, your price points, your luxury. So you can kind of, I maybe might make a chart up with some things that you may want to make sure are in each live. Would that help? And I can have Shannon share that.
Yes, please.
Okay. And I'm really happy too, I'm wondering how if I maybe do a live on my business page, once it gets set up, then everybody can watch it. So that way I can share it more easily, if that makes sense. And everyone's style is different. Don't try to do anything but your own. Be you, be genuine, be you. It's very easy to go back and be that fearful person. It's so easy for all of us to want to go back into our shells. I want to do it all the time. But if you stay genuine, you stay authentic, you will stay on course. It's never going to be perfect, but you just want to, be yourself and keep smiling. And your customers do not want perfection. They wanted perfection. They wouldn't be sitting on Facebook. They're sitting on Facebook because they want you, because you're the person that they need. So, have confidence in what you're doing.
Leanne, the first time I ever went live, it was when I was selling jewelry with actually Michelle. And I'd never gone live, and I'm not a shy person, but I was a mess. I started it and the camera was facing the wall. And so I had to make a joke, and then I dropped it off the table twice. And then I was dropping, I mean, it was crazy. But then what happened is every time I went live, people were popping on because they're like, we want to see what you do next. And I'm like, well, okay. So,
and you said it. I mean, that is exactly like Tracy says, the more mistakes, the better. I mean, Regina can tell you, with my clothing business, the one time I went to try something on and didn't realize the mirror was there, and I got undressed and you could see everything in the mirror. It was so embarrassing. I did take that show down. But again, people like the bloopers. They want to hear your dog barking. They want to see your kids, your husband, your postman, the guy installing the windows. Because it's part of your life and it's part of who you are. And, we're all unique, we're all special. And that's why I think that we're all attracted to this product, because it allows us to be who we are. And don't be afraid to share that with your community. Silence.
Well, for one, I'm out of traffic and I am in a place I could talk. I wanted to just say thank you. Thank you so much for everything, for doing this training, because I think so many people here got so much out of it. And I think we're going to have a lot of people that watch us on a replay and have lots of questions for you.
Yes, absolutely. And I will answer the questions. I would love to answer any of your questions. I'll also show you some of the products I use and my setup, and then make maybe the little list of things that I suggest doing in your lineup.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we all
Thank
have
you.
some work to do some lives now. I think we have a game plan, right?
Yes, I hope so. It's a very, very big concept. So it's not something that you can just put down in a simple formula, but as you work it and you work it to your personality, work it to yourself, work it to your community, you can create your own life formula. And that's when your magic really happens, because it's so empowering to be able to like wrap your month up and be like, okay, I'm going to go live and get those sales. Because, we don't want to wait. We want to be able to get out there and get what we need and form those bonds. And that's the biggest part. I think that is forming those bonds, because that equates to so much more than even financial. It's wonderful, and it empowers all of us. And like I said, it's what gave me my voice back after what happened to me in my life. And I think especially as women, we've lost our voices through the years, right? And going live is a great way for many of us to get our voice back and to empower ourselves. And you have nothing to lose. And we all here, I know all of us want what's best for each other, and we all want to root each other on, and your community feels the same way. So don't be afraid, do it.
Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate this training more than you know, and your expertise. And I love the fact that you say, just do it your way, right? Like make it your own, make those relationships. I think we're all going to be out there doing more lives. So thank you so much for doing this for our team. I really appreciate it, because you have been very successful with them. You do them fantastic. And to share that with us is really a gift. So I appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, Tracy. Bye, Tommy. Bye, Marlena. Bye, Karen. Bye. Bye, Lisa.
Bye, Leanne.
Bye.
Oh, there you go. If you're back on, Shannon, you can hit the record, cancel the record, because you're still the host for me.
I don't think that I am the host. That's what I was going to tell you. So I'm glad that you're still here. It says it's still recording, but I don't have the pause button anymore.
Okie dokie. Let me see if I can. No
My
problem.
whole entire computer just like all of a sudden Zoom just crashed, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
That's okay. I think if we just get off, it will automatically record.
Yeah, because
I
it
think-
has been recording the whole time, so we should definitely have it.
Yep, I think if we leave it, it will be okay. I'm pretty sure.
'Cause it
Thank you,
still
thank
says
you.
recording.
Yep. And there's nowhere for me to pop off either, Shannon. So no big deal.
Okay.
Let me see.
Thank you, Leanne. It was amazing. It was so good. I'm so sorry I crashed at the last minute there. I was like, what is happening with my computer? But it was.
We got through it. Yay.
Well,
Thank
see,
you.
you said something terrible had to happen, and there you go. My entire computer just had a meltdown.
See, it wouldn't be a good live if it didn't. If something bad didn't happen, or not bad, but All right, bye, Regina. See you later. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I'm just trying to make sure it's recorded. I think it will.
It says recording, and I mean, it went to the cloud. Like when I hit recording, it did go right directly, to the cloud.
It just doesn't, it doesn't allow me to stop the, wait, maybe there, hold on. There we go. Let me see if it's, did I
And
stop it?
I even see like the little cloud next to you that it is recording too.